Without a doubt, The Singing Nun is probably one of my top 5 favourite Debbie Reynolds films of all time. I think it's one of her most underrated roles as well because I think she does a fantastic performance. The biopic was released in 1966 and it's directed by Henry Koster, written by John Furia, and as I said, stars Debbie Reynolds as Sister Anne. This is based on the true story of the Belgian nun, and in this, there is a nun who joins a convent and she takes her guitar with her and she does a lot of singing. And eventually she captures the attention of some people outside of the convent, and there's some interest in having her record some of these religious, uplifting, spiritual songs. And soon she finds herself in a little bit of a spotlight, getting quite a bit of attention. And obviously, as a nun, that's unexpected, and by some nuns and some strict convents, quite frowned upon. And there's some confliction with whether or not she should be spreading this spiritual word of the Lord to the masses via media, or if she should just be focusing on the convent and helping people close by. And you can tell that it weighs on her conscience. And which way will she go? It's actually hard to tell. I'd never heard of Sister Anne before watching The Singing Nun, so it was a really interesting way to watch this journey. And I do think that is a big moral dilemma, because I wouldn't know how to solve that. Do you stay in the convent, help people locally, or do you soak up a little bit of the limelight and spread the word to hundreds, thousands, millions? It's a balancing act, and I wouldn't know where to go and what to do with that. So I think it's a really interesting concept if this was fiction. The fact that it's based on truth is just all the more remarkable. I really like Sister Anne as a character. I think she's lovely, really well acted, very likable, and obviously musically very gifted. Dominic is my favourite song in this. It's so addictive, it's sensational. Even if you don't watch the film or you don't watch it immediately, if you can, please go onto YouTube, I assume you're already there, and search for The Singing Nun Dominic. It's beautiful. Debbie Reynolds' voice is just perfect for it. I absolutely love it, and it's very addictive. We have some very sweet characters in this. There's a little boy who Sister Anne helps, and he broke my heart a little bit. He really did melt my heart. We have a lot of characters in this with different opinions about what Sister Anne should do. There's some very strict opinions, some people who are very encouraging. It's absolutely lovely, and I think it's perfect. It was nominated for an Oscar. It was nominated for the best music scoring of a music adaptation or treatment, and I'm just going to check and see if I can see what it did actually lose out to. It also won the Golden Laurel Award for the best musical. I'm just going to check the best music scoring because there's a chance that it was up against something monumental. But for me, as a musicals fan, this has everything going for it. I'd love to see this on stage. I think that would be amazing. I don't know, without having researched it, if it's ever been on stage. But if it hasn't, I'd love it to be. But the film itself is absolutely incredible and just so addictive. Reynolds is perfect with the casting. The soundtrack's beautiful. The winner of the Oscar for the Best Music Score or Music Adaptation or Treatment that year was A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. It's one I've never heard. Other nominees were Return of the Seven, Stop the World, I Want to Get Off, and The Gospel According to Matthew. Personally, I think The Singing Nun should have won, but that's just me. I do absolutely love the film. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. I think you will love it. Even if you haven't got the chance to check it out at the moment, please listen to Dominic. It's beautiful. This is one of Debbie Reynolds' finest and most painfully underrated performances, because I think the Singing Nun, I think the Sinning Nun is an entirely different thing. The Singing Nun is pretty spectacular.